So I'm going to put the cover, the label on the cover. Let me put my gloves on. I don't always put a label on, but when you do put a label on, it's, you know, if it's the right one, then it just seems like it pulls it right together. So these Tim Holtz is a name you're gonna get to know if you start junk journaling, because he has a lot of really nice accessories. Okay, now I want to show you, this is the other part of the envelope. The envelope, you'll see what I did with that. So I'm not going to distress this because I like it the way it is. So let's put a little bit of glue on this, and then we will put this in the front. Alright, I'm going to stand up so I can eyeball this. I think I want it right up here. Yeah. Now, while that's drying, this is so easy. I was intimidated by them at first. They're metal, and I was thinking, how am I going to ever get them to stay down? Well, that's why you get this Fabri-Tac glue. But see, this is a little too much. I got a little crazy here because I don't want it showing, and I don't want the glue all over my rub it off all over the front of my journal. So there we go. How easy is this? Easy as it gets. And it just looks so nice. You know, that little piece of glue, when it dries, I'm just going to peel it right off. So I'm not going to worry about that. I just don't like it on my cover. It gets a little trickier when it gets on the cover. Okay, so now we're going to put some pretty lace that I just got at the antique store. We're going to trial it and put it front to back. Yeah, I like how that looks. It's a nice cotton vintage lace, and it will be, oh, I just found that on my desk. I'm going to have to figure out how that's going to work. I like that color. That green will go good with this blue. So we'll get the Fabri-Tac or 3-in-1 glue. They're both made by the same company. I think you'll hear me say that again, but they're great for gluing down anything. Fabrics, paper. I mostly fall back on them for my fabrics and laces because they just can't be beat. I don't like the smell of it, but they can't be beat. They really hold things down. I really like how this looks. So sometimes I use the end of the glue bottle if I want to make sure that the glue is adhered well. So, you know, if you use your gloves and you've got glue on them, you just keep sticking it. So that's what I do with that. So I'm really loving how this looks. Now we're going to go on to the next part. So last night I whipped up this blue journal. And today I am going to put a signature in. I'm going to sew a signature in because I have a new viewer, Kayla's daughter. She's under 12, I believe. I'm not sure what her name is, and I didn't ask her mom if I could say her name, so I'm not going to say her name. until I get permission. So today we're going to learn how to put the signature in. That's a word for the pages. Now we're going to use this waxed thread, and I measure it by measuring out 2.5 times the length of the book, or the pages, also known as the signature. So you'll learn all of these terms as you go along. There's a lot of different words that go with junk journaling, but it's really fun once you get to know them all and once you get going at it. When I first started, it took me 45 minutes just to sew the signature in, and I didn't even know what signature meant. I kept hearing people say, signatures, signatures, and I asked somebody, and she probably thought I was funny because she never answered me. And I finally figured out by watching that it means all the pages. So I just repeated myself a couple of times, but that's how it goes sometimes. All right, so we are making sure that we have all the pages where we want them, and they're all nice and tight. And I sewed my cover last night, and I can probably link a video on how to sew a cover. I think I did recently do a cover. This time I did fabric on the inside and wallpaper on the outside. Now I use those clips as another pair of hands to hold down the signature. And this pointy tool here is called an awl, A-W-L. You measure where the center is, or you can eyeball it, which is what I do. I have about 12 folded pages here, which makes it easier to manipulate the pages around, or manipulate's a bad word, move and sew the pages in. So I'm doing a 3-hole signature. So that means I'm putting 3 holes in. I make one in the middle, and then I come down about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch from the top on and on the bottom. I use this needle that's, I think it's a darning needle. That's what it's called, a darning needle. I take the thread and hold it down with one of the clips. After I've gone through the middle, now I go to the bottom, and I go through that hole all the way through all of the pages of the signature and come out that hole. Okay, now it's coming out. Now we're going to go back into the middle again, and something that you have to make sure here is you make sure you don't take that tip and you don't split your thread here. So I put it usually on an angle when I put it through the hole here, so that way it stays away from the thread, because if you split the thread, then you won't be able to tighten your signatures and you'll have to go right back to the drawing board again. So we don't want to do that. So back in the middle without splitting, and now come up to the top. Turn the book over and come up from the back, and then you're going to find yourself back in the middle again. Okay? Just watch. Now, take your needle and go underneath and tuck that thread right there. Put the needle aside. You can let go of the clips now because they've done their job. Now this is where you want to turn over the book and you want to see if this is tight enough. You don't want it excessively tight. You don't want it loose. You have to learn how to gauge this. That looks about right. So now we're going to tie a square knot, which means over, right hand over left, and then left hand over right when you're going through. It's like when you're first tying your shoe. There you go. Just like that. And sometimes I leave the threads long and then I put beads. I'm trying to tell myself left over right. I have to talk to myself when I'm doing it because I want to go right over left because I'm right-handed. So if you want to put beads on your thread, then you make it a little bit long. But for this one, I'm going to just make it a knot. And then I'm going to keep those threads because I might use them on another project. So that's it for a signature, sewing in a signature. That was fast and easy. Yes, I've done it a few times now, but I showed you in the beginning how to put the label on, and so it doesn't have the label here because I did this backwards. I did the signature first and then I put the label on, but you do it any way that you want. So now I'm just going through my book and my signature, and I'm deciding how I want to decorate things. I've got to get the gloves back on because I just got my nails done, and if I don't keep the gloves on, the glue will take the nail polish right off. Sometimes this one from Michaels doesn't take my nail polish off, but considering I just spent money on my nails, I want to keep them nice for a little while. This glue is the glue that I was talking about by Beacon. It's 3-in-1 glue or Fabri-Tac. They're both the same company and they work equally as well, but they have a strong odor to them. But you just have to get used to that. Now this page right here is out of a magazine that I had, that my mother-in-law had. I think it's from 2000, and it's from my local area, and it's kind of cool because some of the places are still there and some of them are not. But those are the kind of things that you collect to put in your signatures. Vintage things, meaning old things, and then new. So this is old meets new. This envelope is something that I was looking through my stuff and I said, I think I want to put an envelope in here. And there's a bunch of different ways to put envelopes in journals. So I'm going to show you one way. Now, first I distress the edges because I don't know exactly what I want to do with the edges yet. So I distress them with this distress ink, and I want to make them look old. That's what the distress ink does. So then I will trial my pieces that I have put aside that I know will match this journal. There's that really lovely lace that I got yesterday when I went to the antique store. Sometimes I get some really nice lace there, and I'm so thankful. I just love going into that antique store. I took this picture of this young lady with the bonnet on, and I want to incorporate that somehow. I've seen a lot of people doing that lately. I was just watching Heather for Ruby and Pearl XO, and I guess she did a whole journal using the ladies. And she has some digitals, which I might look into, but haven't gotten to it yet because I have some pages already of them. So that's a real popular thing right now for journals, because it seems like when something is really good, then we all kind of start, and we like that style, we just try to figure out how we can put it in our journals. And this is how I'm going to put it in mine, this one lady. So I'm going to glue this envelope down so that way it'll be out of my way. You could decorate the whole thing and then glue it down. Do it whatever way you want.
You have my permission. Okay, so not a ton of glue. We don't want to load it up with so much glue that it makes the paper buckle. And once you've done it a few times, you'll see what I mean. Buckling's not good. We want our paper to look flat. When I first started, I remember doing, putting a lot of glue down and yeah, a lot of buckling. So I really love this little piece of fabric, which is an old shirt that I found at a thrift store. It wasn't old, actually. I think it was Gap. And I took apart, washed it and took it apart and kept some of the pieces. Some pieces like I don't use, like pieces under the arms. I don't like to use those pieces where the hands go. I don't like using those either. But there's pieces that are salvageable and usable in your journals. So you might as well look at fabric and clothing differently. I don't even look at them to wear anymore. I look at them as how they're going to go in my journal. It's a funny thing. That's why it's Joanne's junk journaling life, I guess. Plus, it was a gift from God, my therapy, journaling. Which I don't do a lot of journaling, I have to say. I just make a lot of them. And I'm getting ready for an upcoming craft fair at Washington County Fair in August. My husband got me into it. So I'm trying to make a bunch of journals and then I'll be making them at the fair and hopefully I can get some custom orders because I love doing custom. I just love personalizing things because that makes it special for the person getting the journal and I just love it.